gives it some torque, doesn't it?
Just a little bit.
And that starts that
It
pivot
doesn't
point
take much in that size of an
rotating.
airplane.
That really gets things going.
Yeah, he gets a lot of torque from that.
Yeah.
A lot.
That's lost the engine. Unbalanced. Undamaged.
Yeah.
It's rolling straighter.
Yeah, that might be the thing. Let's see. Then it wasn't vibrating there.
Well, he didn't have them on. He didn't have the big blades
He
on.
didn't have it on.
He just had the front motor on. John, did you balance it by the book?
There's no real way to balance it.
Well, let me tell you what this guy told me. You can do whatever you
If
want.
it's about the tilt, it doesn't. If you look at the battery compartment, if you use the battery they recommend.
add lead weight to plate.
Well, I don't know how you would actually hold it.
I thought he was
False
going to fly. Yeah, I thought he was going to fly. Well, today is the 5th of August. We'll go up one more time with the Visionaire. Hope I still had this camera set properly. I don't know if I do or don't. Coming in.
Which does make sense. Yeah. Well, all
What do
right.
you want? How much do you
How
want?
much does that weigh?
Well, this is 2/4.
Well, that's one thing I don't know that much about, so I wouldn't even venture a guess.
I'm just reading instructions.
Yeah, yeah.
Zero was famous for that.
How much is 220 millimeter?
220, it's almost
220 is about like this.
No, 220 millimeters.
220 millimeters. That's 100 millimeter.
220
For
millimeters.
the tilt would be what?
Yeah,
About like
see?
that, right?
About, I guess, 5 inches.
Yeah, it's about 26 to an inch.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty close to. I always figure right around 30 to an inch. Similar, roughly. It's
Well, 30 to
there.
an
You're
inch.
right. You're
10
very
millimeters
close.
is like
It's
about
3
that.
inches, roughly 3
Yeah.
inches, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
Almost like 6
inches.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I always think of a 90 millimeter gun. 90 millimeter
Yeah.
round is about.
Well, what I always go by, and meters with my glider, it's a 2 meter glider, and it's 82. I think it's 82
See, now
inches.
we should have
Yeah.
gone to the meters back in.
Oh yeah, well, when
1932.
they first talked about it, yeah. Yeah.
But they're still
Yeah,
dragging
they're
that
still
anchor.
dragging and stupid. Yeah, it's stupid. Yeah.
We'll everything will be meters in the next 50 years or 100
Oh yeah.
years or so.
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
absolutely inevitable because it's cheaper.
sure,
And
sure.
go out and buy a Cadillac today
Yeah.
or a Ford,
Yeah.
and half the nuts in it will be metric.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's
half
true.
the threads in
And
it.
in fact, this is what happens with any of these guys. I'll tell you, this is what's trouble with our model planes. There are most of them are in millimeters or meters, most of them. But then every once in a while, you'll come in with somebody who's got it in inches, and feet, and you know it's. And the same thing with the nuts and bolts. You know, you'll get some that are on metric and some that aren't. And that's what the screwy thing is. Yeah.
Trying to fix your daughter's chair.
Yeah. Anything. I don't care what it is.
You know about Bruce's place that he goes and get nuts and bolts?
No.
He's got a place that he's real familiar with, and it's over here by the school district, by the water department.
Yeah.
It's in there. Anyway, you go in there with a goofball thing, and they'll find it, like a set screw.
What's the name
Yeah.
of that company?
All the parts.
Gosh, I don't know. There's only one in
Every
there.
little thing.
I've gone several times, and
Tail wheel.
I had a prop shaft.
Spare part.
Yeah.
It was 2.5 millimeters. Turns out.
Supposed to be.
Anyway, he went back, pulled them out, but they were threaded all the way, but it worked fine.
Yeah.
Attention on
They're
deck.
real good, and he says no charge.
I'll go look for that place because
Yeah.
I went out and when I first got out here and started putting models together again, I went out and I bought a couple of 5 or 6 boxes of
Various,
metric and SAE small screws.
Mhm.
You know, nuts. And
These guys are good. They're really pleasant and helpful
Let's
and
see a left
cheap,
turn on the blade.
and they got everything.
see that? See the,
Oh, he
see the
started.
rudder waving around?
I don't know if I got my camera on yet
It's
or
on.
not. I think I have, but I'm not sure. I hope it's on.
Said full power. 75%
Right up
power.
to just.
thing to do is floor it and get it up in the air. Then when it lands, it'll smash itself to death.
And then you're done.
Yeah. I've flown those so many times on the simulator, and it took me a while to learn to fly it. But actually, they were easy to fly once you actually.
What, helicopters?
No, auto
Auto
gyros. Yeah, they've got one on Phoenix, on a Phoenix program.
I can't fly a helicopter.
Me either.
Well, I can fly helis online, but you know, in the programs, on both of them, I can fly the helicopters fine, no problem. But when it comes to the real ones, I ain't worth a shit. I can't. I'm lucky if I can do forward flight.
Something good.
I got this Microsoft Flight Simulator. They got helicopters in it. I've been taking lessons for years trying to get that thing up in the air and go where you want it
Back when
to
I was
go.
flying ultralights back in the 80s, one of our friends had a Hughes 500 real helicopter, and he had a couple helicopters. But anyway, I went up one day with him. He says, "I'll show you how to fly," you know. So we go up, and there was 3 of us in the aircraft at the time, and he turned the controls over to me. We were at about 1,500 feet, I think. He turned the controls over to me. Well, he had totally level. I had my hands and feet on the controls for about 12 seconds. I said, "Walt, I can't dance." You know, that's just shit. And yet, my friend who was with us, we landed and we changed seats. And he had never flown a helicopter either, and he was able to fly it right off the bat. Right off the bat.
I think if you got training in an airplane,
Yeah.
if
It screws you up.
It screws you up for a helicopter.
Yeah. It was hard for me to learn how to fly these quads after flying airplanes and trying helicopters for so long. And I find out now that quads are real easy for me. They're real easy to fly.
Everything is easy if you know how to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
yeah,
you know?
yeah. They're real easy to fly. I mean, of course, they're easy to crash too, but they don't hurt. You don't hurt them when you crash because they only weigh about that one I was flying only weighs about 2.7 ounces, and so it has no mass. So when it hits, the only thing you're going to do maybe is bend a prop, and props are cheap and easy to replace.
Yeah, aim it away from us.
Just get ready to duck. You say come toward us and hit right in the guy's truck.
Oh, we can hold it up, make it like a downhill, like the Germans did. They shot them planes down and then up.
You can do it. You can do it, John.
I know that. Well, that's on the gear. No. We have to commit you
But it was getting there.
It was light on the skid.
It was light on the skids. I think you need to have a little bit of breeze.
Yeah, but I guarantee it will take off for 100 feet.
Yeah, those you ought to get you one of those little quads. They're $44 at Nitro Planes. Actually takes you to X-Heli. They're $44 with a transmitter, 2 batteries, ready to go, ready to fly. They're fun to fly too.
Those little tiny ones?
Yeah, those small.
Is that little yellow one?
And you can put a camera on. You can put a camera on. Well, not like this one. You can put a key camera on it.
Oh, you got a camera right there, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, BT.
Yeah, I also got some key cams that I put on when I put on that little quad. I put a key cam on there.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. That glider, I guess. I don't know what it was. That you had the camera on.
Yeah.
I saw that on
YouTube.
on YouTube, and
Yeah.
I showed my wife. See?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm one of the few guys that film crashes of my own.
Yeah.
Most of the guys will they take out their own crashes anyway, but I put them in there because I figure it's a good teaching tool. If people
It is.
watch it, it's a good teaching tool.
From an engineering point of view, if you run a test flight and everything goes perfect, the engineers start looking at one another, say, "Shit, we didn't learn nothing."
No.
What would we do that for?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, now yesterday he did a couple of them where he got the thing in the air and start maybe 10 feet, 15 feet high, and then it would get in that bank and he couldn't get it out of that bank. It just kept banking to the left, and
Spiraled in?
huh?
Spiraled in?
Yeah, just
Well, would Fred to give it to him or what?
no, he bought that. He bought that.
No, it's just that time of day. Everything's I don't know. It could also be the way the road is.
No, I'm looking at that GB, and I'm thinking if somebody built an airplane like that today,
Oh, the GB?
yeah.
Yeah, you can you can get them ready built.
I mean that particular one right there.
Oh.
A real airplane.
Yeah.
They probably have a gas turbine in it.
There was back in the 80s some guys from up in Oregon. One guy's name was Wolf. I'm trying to think what the other guy was, but they built absolute copy of the GB and flew it and test. In fact, I've got the test disc at home for their test flight. Went perfect. I mean,
Well,
they had no
original one,
problem. It was just built right from the regular GB plans. It was built exactly.
I'm thinking that
And the guy that
From
flew
a-
it said it was easy as hell to fly.
from a theoretical point of view, that thing I think it would look better with a 4-bladed prop on it.
Uh-huh.
And if you look at the gas turbines that they're putting in airplanes today, they're putting 5 blades.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
6
and even
blades
6 blades,
on some of them, because those little engines are developing so much power that you don't have to worry about, getting the RPM out of the damn thing.
You know what I just found out? I found out they now have ultralight aircraft with electric motors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hell,
Which I didn't know they had those. But a guy was talking about it yesterday, and I went home and looked it up online.
You can buy one
Yeah.
that you can fly.
Yeah. Mhm.
That has electric motors
Mhm.
and no battery.
Yeah.
Solar powered.
Yeah. Mhm.
You let it sit out there for
Yeah.
it has a storage battery.
Yeah.
Let it sit out there and the sun shines, and then you
Yeah.
turn the prop on, get it up to altitude, and,
Yeah.
and mill around all day, and
Yeah.
no gasoline, no nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're for sale in Switzerland.
Guy said electricity runs if you do it on the other kind with the regular electric motors. He said it's about 60 cents for an hour.
First 4-bladed prop I saw down in Del Toro, and I was parking aircraft and
Uh-huh.
looking after them, visitors, was this thing called the AD,
Yeah.
and it had a 4-bladed prop.
Yeah.
So I was motioning him in and parking him, and and folded his wings and gave him all this, you know. So anyway, I turned and walked away, and he cleared the mag, I guess, gave it a goose to clean the mag out. It picked me off the runway and washed me down the runway.
Wow.
That airplane had a.
That flew in Vietnam.
Did you get hurt?
Well, they designed it. It didn't make World War II, but
No.
they designed it for that. So it got a. It
Late
made it
stuff.
into Korea.
Yes.
They made that thing into Korea, but that airplane, single engine airplane,
Yes.
could carry the same bomb load as a B-17,
Yeah.
the same range.
Oh, wow.
And
I talked to the pilot that flew in Korea, and I says,
What was the name of it?
the AD-1 Douglas Sky Raider.
Yeah, I remember it now,
So
yeah.
the pilot told me, I said, what about these MiGs, you know, in Korea? And he says, oh hell, they were no threat. You know, I was going at 300 miles an hour and they were going at 700 or 800.
Yeah.
And it says, if I saw them, you know, I'd take a veer off, a different vector, and they'd have to circle around 10 or 20 miles to make another
And-
look
and
at me.
I-
And I'd cut the other way.
I think there's a couple of ADs that shot MiGs down.
Oh,
Yeah, I think there were too.
That airplane
I
carried
think there were two.
20 millimeter gun, a couple of them in the wing, and if you hit anything
Yeah.
with 20 millimeters, it especially
have you seen this guy, Jack?
the guy pulling in here.
Yeah, watch this. He's a good lad. He's real, comes a lot. He does the same thing.
He waits until you're through flying, or
No, he's prepping himself. Oh, now he's starting to move.
That's going to help you.
Somebody go around and open the back. This is right.
Better. You did better every time you
Here he goes.
flush that time.
Yeah.
he needs to get that rotor going fast. He's not getting. Oh, he's like the dog out.
Let the dog out.